10 years ago this spring, I found out that I was going to get like my seventh straight pink slip at a school. And I was like, maybe this isn't for me. And I loved teaching. I loved going through material. I did not love getting a bunch of flack and kickback for stuff that I felt like was really, really valuable. And when you do a home inspection, you turn that on its head. You find this stuff that they think is valuable, and you hand it back to them, and they pay you handsomely for it. And I love that. I don't know if I've told this story before. There was an inspector in my first house I bought, and he crawled the crawl space, and he got in all the different. He got in the attic, he got on the roof, he did all this stuff. He gave us all this value. He told me it was $500. He told me what time he was going to be there. He told me when he was going to have the report. He ran the whole show, and I was like, well, that's not like what I do. I don't get to do any of that cool stuff. He's like, I don't roll. One of those late career guys. He's like, I don't roll out of bed for less than $500. I write novels in my free time. I'm like, that's a cool job, man. So that kind of sent me down this path of like continuing to learn and continuing to study. So we're talking about some of this, like, I mean, I talked at the convention about this. This talk is a little bit of that. Writing the writing course is a little bit of this, but it's always learning something new for me. So it doesn't have to be the same stuff that all the guys around you are doing. That's how we differentiate and get better in the industry, is we make ourselves better and we learn new skills and new habits and new services. You know, for Julian, that might be commercial. For Rob, that might be sewer scope, right? I mean, for Jeff, that might be indoor air quality. But you want to keep kind of working and learning something new, right? So that's what's going to keep you fresh and keep you learning. This I presented, I don't know if it's online. This was the talk 2022 in Ontario, but really it's just a template. If there's something that pops up, you know, just let me know. I'd love to help you guys out and resource you. Really is, you know, it's where my heart is. That's why I do what I do. I've made great friends, great connections through this industry, and I really enjoy getting to travel and do some of this stuff. So that's an old picture, some old stats. We've done like over 400 now in 9 years of doing commercial. The big thing to me is writing costs. But we'll get to that. Different. I thought it would have been nice at the convention to sit down. Lance was doing cost secure, and he has a certain approach. Rob doesn't do them barely at all. He doesn't recommend them. I do 10-year. I think Lance does something in the shorter term. But it would be nice. Approaches aren't right or wrong. Like, black or white thinking won't get you anywhere. I do it this way, you do it this way, so we have to fight. That doesn't get you anywhere. There's something to be learned from every approach, for the most part. There's always exceptions. But even from somebody that does something polar opposite from you, if they're following the guidelines, there's probably something you can learn from. So to me, a lot of the discussions in and around home inspections are like, which way is better? And that's okay. But I think a better question is like, what can we learn from each other? To me, on the threads, when somebody says, why can't I make more money? That is a passive victim mindset. Look yourself in the mirror and get your ass up and work harder. That's the answer to making more money. If that's not what you want to do, figure out what it is you want to do. But don't whine because somebody else got a job. I don't get hurt when the same engineering firm in Raleigh with the guy I graduated high school with wins every capital reserve study because they underbid us. I'm not going to get upset with him. I'm going to write a better proposal. You see the difference? Why are they coming at me? Because you get brushback from excellence. Hate always comes from below. So if you're going to get better, get better. Don't worry about what other people are doing. We're going to build a great business, whether they regulate it in every state or no states. That's my approach. I will find a way around them or through them. That's the approach. You know, deal with the things and move through them. As men, like, get stronger in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be what I do. It doesn't have to be what the next guy does. It needs to be whatever the thing you're afraid to do, whatever thing you're afraid to work on, that's actually the thing that you need to work on the most. And it's your intuition telling you that. It's not me. It's not your neighbor. I'm not with you in the morning when you look in the mirror. If I say I'm going to work out twice a day, who am I accountable to when I get up in the morning and I didn't do it yesterday? Me. If you're hurt by something that happens, something somebody says to you, it's because you haven't dealt with it yourself first. Then nobody can bother me once I've dealt with it myself. Nobody. Because I know where I am right now. They're not breaking any news to me when I've been honest with myself. If you're avoiding something, that's fear, right? What I'm saying is press through that. That's the journey of growth for all of us as men. And I realized, like, he didn't want to talk about what's going on in his heart. That's okay. That might not be for everybody. But what I'm telling you ain't a lie. When you're ready for it, it'll hit you like a ton of bricks. So experience, how does that tie into this? Experience is built up over time, guys. Like, I was so afraid to go on my first commercial inspections. I wouldn't say it out loud. I was hoping that the project manager from the big national firm was going to show me how to do it. And we shook hands, we talked about the project. He steps behind me, like physically. He's like, "You take the lead." And I was like, "What?"